Hi there, it's Tamara Hawk with your August 2024 energy forecast video. And we're going to start with where we have been, talk about where we are, and then where we're going. Okay, so for most of the beginning of the year, for almost all of us, there was some sort of a clearing or something. Okay, some people got sick and their bodies cleared things out. Some people just went to town on their homes and cleared those out. Some relationships got cleared out. People left, people, whatever. Okay. So you probably had something throughout the beginning of the year, the first quarter, where things cleared out. Okay. And then in May, we got this big boost, probably around May 20th, where there may have been more inspiration. You started having ideas and things like that. Now, in August, uh, August is going to be a pretty chill month. Okay. And I do have some notes so I don't get all in my head. Um, anyway, so if you allowed for that clearing, you've been doing your work. Most of you've been doing your work, whether it's shadow work, inner work, just figuring out your life, whatever. Okay. August is going to be a lot more flowy. So try and bask in that flow and enjoy it. It'll be like floating down a lazy river in August. Okay. Um, now think of what you've cleared. Don't harp on it, but if you ponder what you've cleared, your August is going to be a month where you're actually free to receive things now. Okay, like lots is left. So just get open to receiving. You can even get like a little mantra, I'm open to receive, and see what flows in as you're floating down that river. Um, Now, we also on our world need a lot of light workers. Okay, a lot of you are coming online now. So whether you've started to figure things out or started to think maybe I should be playing with cards or helping people more, you're just maybe your heart's opening up, you're feeling a little more love. For a lot of you, this will be creativity, it'll be art, so writing or painting, things like that, music. All of these are creative things, and if you allow that to flow with the love and the creativity, August is going to be an amazing month for that kind of stuff. Okay, if you are if you have a light worker business or you want to start a light worker business, August, perfect time. Okay, it's all about the flow, and we need you. If you're thinking about doing it, if you think you've been coming online, do it. Put yourself out there. Do what you're inspired to do. Don't talk yourself out of it. Okay, the world needs your gifts, all of you. Um, on a more, I don't know, it's not really, I guess maybe it's physical level. Anyway, it's a really good month in August to figure out what works for you. Okay, because we have this flow going on. Is changing a part of your diet going to work for you? Okay, so you may figure out in August which foods are working or not working for you best. Um, Whether or not a certain type of exercise, going for walks or yoga or anything, like you'll figure out what it is that's working. Do a lot of exploration around this, maybe meditations, maybe listening to audios, learning something. You're gonna figure out what's working and what's not. But it feels, the whole energy feels more like the receiving of things flowing to you. So it feels more like finding out what works versus um, something negative happening and saying that's not working. It feels way more flowy than that. So explore. Okay, lots of exploration this month of what might work for you. Um, I mentioned before, most of you watching this have done your work. If you haven't and things are wanting to leave your life, let them, okay? Somebody breaks up with you, let them go. It's your high self, your heart all knows what's best for you, okay? So don't let your mind take over and grasp onto things that you're not meant to keep, because this is all forward movement in August, but in a flowing way. It doesn't feel leaps and bounds. It feels super flowy. So quite often this year, especially in the February video, my peeps had mentioned like it's time to pick your dimension. And this keeps coming up over and over, like you can pick your dimension. Now, we pick our dimensions with every decision that we make, okay? So you could have made a decision when you were 20 years old to get married. So there's a parallel timeline where you made a decision to not get married, okay? So that's with the big decisions and the small ones, okay? So it's like if you went somewhere and there was a fender bender car accident, in a parallel dimension, there's a dimension where you didn't take that road and you didn't have that fender bender, okay? And it's all about our mind and our decisions. So when August is a good month to pick a dimension, and you do this by deciding. So I decide I'm going to allow for creativity. I decide I'm going to let this thing go. So keep that in mind. With every decision you're making, you're creating a parallel reality, a different dimension, and you can choose your dimensions from minute to minute. And big decisions and small create dimensions. So I've got more to say, so it'll kind of make sense even with the rest I've got to say. Something I was going to mention is there's a lot of, I don't even know how to say this because I don't want to be judgy of other people. We're all on our own journey. Now, there's a lot of stuff out there where it's like, you have to do this now because come September, you won't be able to do it. Now, I want to put that into a bit of a perspective here. It's not that you won't be able to do it. Astrologically speaking, doing it in August will be much easier for you. If you wait till September, you will be paddling upstream and it could be a little difficult. Now, this is not our absolute last chance ever to do certain things. It's just the easiest. Now, I've been on this planet for almost 60 years and I've been doing this since I was born. So there have been many, many times where things are easier or more difficult. And there's always another time for it to be easier. I think the decision lies more in, do you want to get started now or do you want to wait a year before it's easy? Okay. Like, if you're trying to hang on to something that really wants to leave, sure, if it's uncomfortable now, you can hang on to it, and it can be uncomfortable for another year before it's easy to let it go again. Like, that's a dimensional choice, right? So the suggestion is to allow things to go, allow for receiving of things, because I don't know, it might be a little more difficult next month, that's all. And it's all a choice. So yeah, think about that. The next thing my peeps wanted to talk about is to remind you that you're a sovereign being, okay? We are ourselves, and nobody has power or control over us unless we let them, okay? I suppose there's an exception if you're tied up in somebody's basement. I don't know. I hope YouTube doesn't get mad at me for that one. But it's like old power structures are just leaving. Stuff's leaving. It's changing. It looks like the world is going to crap, but stuff's coming up so it can leave. You've experienced this in your personal life this year so far. So it's happening the same on a planetary level. It's just, it appears to be taking a little longer, right? Which is why it's time for you to put yourself out there, because it helps raise the vibration of the planet. All right. So, my peeps say, don't get caught up too much on what's going on outside of you. It's the inner you that you need to concern yourself with this month in a big way. Okay. Don't try and make things happen outside of you. If you take care of your own energy and allow that flow and the creativity and the heart space and all of that, if you take care of that energy, your external life will take care of itself. All right. So keep that in mind. Something else they mentioned, and I don't like talking about this, but if they say it, I'll say it. I'll just read it. But they said, if you think that you will do well or poorly based on who is in political power, you are giving away your own power. You need to realize that you can do well in any situation. If you are waiting for someone to save you, okay, so this would be politics, aliens, Jesus coming down from heaven, then come September, you will be a little more uncomfortable. It's you need to save you, right? But everything we've talked about so far is all about this flowy and good August energy. So you don't really need saving. You just need to allow this energy to flow through and receive it, okay? Now, the next thing my peeps mentioned that seems to be a big one is like self-love. And that struggle and fighting are going to bring you down, okay? Self-love, self-judgment, the voices in your head, okay? Most of the voices in your head did not come from you, okay? They're your parents, they're television, they're media, they're other things you've heard, and they're not even yours. If you didn't get programmed from 0 to 7 years old and then for the rest of your life, if you weren't constantly programmed, those voices wouldn't exist, okay? When you were born with this self-love. You were talked out of it. So recognize that a lot of the voices in your head, if they're judging you, they're not yours, okay? They'll zap your inspiration like crazy. So really pay attention. If you're being mean to yourself, if you're like, I'm not good enough, or if something happens, like, I don't know, you stub your toe and then the voice in your head says, oh, you're such an idiot. Like, that's a horrible way to talk to yourself. You wouldn't talk to a little kid like that. So don't talk to yourself that way. You could actually say, if you stubbed your toe, that would actually be a good way to have a practice to soothe yourself and not judge yourself. So keep that in mind. If something happens, don't be overly self-critical. It's we're in this energy right now where it's easier to change all of these things. So start journaling. See what those voices in your head are saying and change them. You could change them through affirmations. You can change them through, like, say, journaling, paying attention. If you're doing something and you feel like crap, it's like, what are you saying in your head to yourself? Are you saying you're powerless? Are you saying you're stupid? Just really, really boost yourself up, because the energy we're in right now, it's like, it'll times it by 100. Okay? This is from my peeps, what we wrote down earlier. Anyway, he says, just when you think you know what to do and you're thinking of actually doing it, the voices in your head can stop you cold. Okay? So it says, You need to stop listening to those voices, and that this takes a lot of practice. You can do it though if you slow down enough to pay attention. That's all it takes, is paying attention. This is your shadow. Love it for what it is and what it taught you, and let it go. Okay, so that's what my peeps had me write down, which I guess I probably already said a little bit. But yeah, so for August, flow, 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 flow. August is all about flowing. And yes, come like Labor Day, the planets are going to do some stuff, and it's going to feel urgent, is the word I'm getting. It's going to feel like everything's urgent and an emergency or something. And it doesn't need to be. If you, while you're floating down that lazy river this month, if you need to take your inspired actions, if you're thinking about doing something, do it, because then it's already in process by September, right? You're already partway there. So when the energy changes, you're not left with the old crap from the beginning of the year, from decades past. It's like, oh, okay, so this energy's here, this thing's changing, but it doesn't matter because I've done all my stuff. I've been so creative. I've put all of these things out there. I have more people in my life now. I have more love, creativity, sovereignty, self-love. I've got all of these things in place. So the external come September won't even matter, right? Like some things may come up that are of a personal nature, maybe. Like I say, the shift in September is mostly an out there shift, okay? There may be a little bit of in here shifts, but oh, you could just so pre-pave yourself during August. It's going to be so easy if you let it be. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap this one up for now. So remember, pick your dimension, work on your self-love. Don't judge yourself. And there's no sense judging other people either, because then you're just judging yourself too. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, enjoy August with much love.